What's up guys, welcome to Simple Chinese. My name is Mike Lin. In this episode I want to talk about is different versions of Chinese. So in the previous video I talked about the difference between simplified Chinese and the traditional Chinese. If you haven't watched that video, make sure to go back and check that out. So today the topics will be Cantonese compared to Mandarin. Okay, so I just want to talk about all these before we actually jump into any further lessons, so you have a general idea of what's going on. Okay, so usually when you translate English to Chinese or whatever language to Chinese, usually as far as written wise, in Google Translate, let's say there's a traditional Chinese and a simplified Chinese. That's basically just the difference of how you write Chinese. Simplified basically means it's easier to reckon with the traditional, and there's a whole history behind it, which is in a previous video. But in this video I'm talking about is Cantonese and the Mandarin. Okay, so we actually translate, when you call a hospital, and then they're like, oh hi, blah blah blah, do you need a translator? And they're like, yes. So they'll be like, you want the Mandarin or you want the Cantonese? Okay, so they're both Chinese, but what's the difference? Okay, so and I'm also gonna talk about history. Okay, so the history of Cantonese and Mandarin. So what Mandarin is basically how people, the entire mainland China, if I can draw that, would be something like this, the mainland China, whatever, something like that, right? Right, the entire mainland China will be speaking the official language, at least, right? Everybody's learning that at starting kindergarten all the way to whatever college will be Mandarin. Okay, Mandarin is what pretty much all the time, most of the time, Mandarin, when you say do speak Chinese, that means the entire Chinese Mandarin, right? The official language of China, mainland China, the 1.3 billion people, right? That's what Mandarin is. Then what is Cantonese then? The only difference between these two is the pronunciation. Okay, both words still write the same. Okay, you still write like hello, whatever's from the same. So as far as written wise goes, most of them will be the same. Okay, and then so what is Cantonese? Cantonese basically is just this state. I don't know exactly where that is, but it should be in the southern China. So somewhere in here, there's a state, okay, called Canton. T-O-N, right? Canton, or nowadays known as Guangdong or Guangxi. Okay, I think it's this, Guangdong. So Guangdong, right? Guangdong, and also I think Guangxi as well. And Guangxi. So this is one state. That's another state. So basically, these two states here, southern China, they speak this region is called Canton. Okay, so dialects basically. Even in America here, you hear the southern accent, the Chicago accent, the New York, Boston accent. They're all different. So that's just an accent or dialects. But if you think about like one country, if the country that's been around for like thousands of years, the way how they talk or pronounce will really start to vary, as time goes by. So if you have like thousands of years, the accent will be very different. Okay, so what that means that basically, even though they're speaking Chinese, but I guess their accent has changed so much, and the dialects changed so much, to a point almost becomes its own pronunciation. There is still very little, I guess, similarities between Cantonese and the Mandarin, but overall they've been changed a lot. So that's what Cantonese become different. But that being said, not Cantonese. Literally every single state, whatever in China, has their own dialects, or you can call it whatever it needs. Their own language or pronunciation at least. So that's what That's basically an idea here. And then the reason why Cantonese becomes so popular in U.S. is Hong Kong was here, and back then England it was under British government, basically under their control. So Hong Kong here also speaks Cantonese because it's literally right next to these two states. So basically Hong Kong back then was very international. So that's why the influence, like, let's say Jackie Chan, even like Bruce Lee, all of them, all of those people speaks Cantonese, right? So that's when they go to in a different place like USA, whatever, blah blah place. So they speak Cantonese, and they already have a very big community, on like early days. So that's why the Cantonese was mainstream. Basically, they just literally talked Cantonese in the entire those two states, including Hong Kong. So anybody who's from those regions goes to US, right? They start to speak Cantonese, which is pretty much different syntax or different dialects of Chinese. Okay, so that's when the Cantonese becomes so popular. But what it really is just kind of a small section of China, their own syntax getting bigger. It's kind of like saying in the Chicago Southern accent, goes to China, and then there's all of a sudden two kind of English, or the thing about American English and British English or Ireland English, they're really different. Southern accent, Southern American accent compared to Ireland, accent very very different, right? So that's the same idea here, Cantonese and Chinese. But Mandarin here is what even today in China, let's say, if you go to Asia, Mandarin here is what even like these two states here also speaks. So Mandarin is the entire official language of the entire China here. So basically means in these two states here, or maybe including Hong Kong, well, just these two states here, basically they speak both Mandarin and Cantonese. Okay, so I guess that's the point here. So and here Hong Kong. I think Hong Kong nowadays, like people speak Mandarin, but I think Cantonese is still mainstream, But that's basically what it is, Like there's nothing complicated. Mandarin is basically the official language, the Chinese language of China. Cantonese is a small region, people speaks Cantonese. It's from a state called Canton, whatever town or region here called Canton. Right, and the reason why it gets so big here in USA is because a lot of influential people, or from Hong Kong or from Canton, two different countries like like USA, and then start to influence Bruce Lee. He's from Canton, Hong Kong, around this area. Jackie Chan is from this area. Things like that. So, and that's pretty much all. That's all you have to know about Cantonese and Mandarin. So most of the time right now we talk about learning Chinese. It will be Mandarin. Okay, speaking wise, and then writing wise, it's not all the same, or the only difference is traditional and simplify, which they both mean the same thing. Okay, so that's it. I think those two are the biggest. I guess the biggest arguments where you will see in Chinese, but that's all. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave to a comment below, or you can also email me also down the box. You can find the address as well. And that's the book I'm using. If you want to get that, you can simply click the link down below to go to Amazon and get your own, physical copy, or maybe other books associated with it, such as workbook or like character book, really helps you learn Chinese. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.